Eric Bass presents his new record, I Had a Name.
Hell yeah.
Released. Yeah, I don't know. The name kind of messed my flow up. Did you see that? Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because the name
fine.
kind of throws me off. I only put in the title Eric Bass,
Mhm.
because that's also we had Eric on the podcast to chat. It was a phenomenal conversation, one of the
Oh
last
yeah.
ones we had last year at the
Hmm.
very end of last year, and yeah, the name kind of throws me off. Um,
Hmm.
but it's cool. That's
And
okay.
we'll let it
Yeah,
slide.
the name aside,
Hmm.
the album is so awesome. Um,
Hmm.
you know, getting to chat with Eric about this,
Hmm.
I kind of forgot what the conversation was about until I started listening to the record again and realizing the concepts, on my whatever listen of this, the second or third listen to this record, knowing now all of what I knew about it. We really dove
Hmm.
deep into everything about the album and the concept and the characters and everything. We just dove head first. I mean, the interview's over an hour long. We touched on a lot. I was just, that got my wheels turning, starting to hear the characters' names and all that shit. And it's just the amount of work that went into this record, knowing how long he sat on it for. I'm so glad
Hmm.
it's finally out. Um, it's such an interesting listen because, like, he's one of the main songwriters in Shinedown, his main
Hmm.
band, and Shinedown is a band where you know what you're gonna get. They're gonna pick from a few different sounds, and that's what you get with Shinedown. There's nothing wrong with that. They're a phenomenal band, and
Hmm.
I've been fucking with a lot of Shinedown actually recently. Those couple of new songs, I've been
Yeah, you
jamming
have
with
been
them.
enjoying them. Yeah.
But like I've started to pick up on all the different things that Shinedown does, but it all kind of falls into the same general umbrella. Like
Hmm.
what
Yeah.
you're getting is
They
what you
have
get.
their, yeah.
All reliable in that sense. Like if you're a
It's
fan of
like Mayday
Shinedown,
Parade.
yeah. If you're a fan of Shinedown, you're probably gonna like whatever they do next. And
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that. As I said, phenomenal band.
Hmm.
But this is so out of left field. It's like didn't even know that he could do this kind of shit. That's how out of left field it is, and that's what
Yeah.
I love about it. I think I said it at the very end of the interview when he asked like what have we been listening to,
Hmm.
and I asked him if he knew the band Avatar,
Hmm.
and he mentioned that he was familiar but hadn't really listened, because that's really like that's the vibe I get from this, that kind of
Theatrical,
theatrical
big
chaos
storytelling.
in a way,
Yeah.
like good night is
Mm.
really the song for me that made me feel that way, because it almost feels like the vocal delivery is that of what I would hear from Avatar, and
Hmm.
even just like the chanting part of like the good night, the way
Hmm.
it's delivered, and then Mind Control, which is one of my favorite songs on the record, kind of just feeds into that. um I think the record is phenomenal. It's, as I said, it's so out of left field, but there's so many really cool pieces, and it's such a cool full album listen. He did a great job of really curating an experience that you have to start from beginning to end, because there's a story, and if you kind of know what you're looking for, at least for me, that's how I need to enjoy the concept records. I need to know that there's something there, for me to
Hmm.
be able to pick up on it, because I'm not always the one listening super close to the lyrics.
Hmm.
Knowing that there was something there, I was listening very intently and picking up on the story, and I think it's fucking phenomenal. I love it.
Hmm. I completely agree. I because of the interview we did, um, the second listen around, I was definitely listening a lot closer. And I was able to pick up, I was able to follow loosely, because I know the album isn't a direct one-to-one because there's a book.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
much.
fucking book,
So much.
or a comic. It's
Comic.
literature
Yeah.
of some sort, to go along with the album, to go along with the storyline. Um, I know it's not a one-to-one. I know it's kind of like the characters and kind of like scenes
Hmm.
versus kind of just a very thorough story that we're following with it. But because I was aware of it, I was able to feel all the emotions that he was trying to convey and kind of place myself in whatever shoes the character he was showing us was experiencing. Damn, that was so fucked up. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Um, I think it's a great record. Something that I really liked about it was that it's very um I feel like smorgasbord is like the wrong word, but it's very diverse
Hmm.
sound wise. There are a lot of different little bells and whistles on it. There are a lot of different ear candies. And because it's a concept record, I feel like that also adds another layer of this is just fucking fun to listen to. Um, when we were talking, you brought up that at the end of the interview, when we were talking about bands that we're listening to, you mentioned Avatar, and I remember I mentioned, oh, who would fucking get Don Broco? Um, and I remember saying the reason I really liked this record was because it reminded me of my introduction to Don Broco, which was Amazing Things, because it caught me off guard. The first listening to fucking Gum Shield,
Yeah,
there's just so much
great
happening, and
song.
it's just don't get me started. Don't get me. I will revert back to that. It's probably going. You're probably going to see something happen. That's typically how it goes. But it reminded me. Listening to this record gave me kind of that same feeling because it is. Tip now. You're not going to go into this record. Don't go into this record expecting Amazing Things or Amazing Things, the album by Don
Yeah.
Broco, or kind of like that genre because it's not, but it's kind of just the same approach, I guess, to music where it's a lot of things happening, but it's very cohesive and it catches your ear.
Hmm.
And that's what I like about it a lot. It's artistic, it's fun, and you're able to follow whatever storyline. I really like this record a lot. And I agree, Mind Control fucks. And then also I think it was New Graves. New
Yeah.
Graves is also really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say my favorite is that 3-track run of Good Night, Mind Control, and New Graves. Overall, fucking phenomenal. Very glad it's finally out here. Would love to see this transformed live at some point. I don't know if that's ever in the cards, but would be dope. Just throwing that out there.
And it's probably gonna be a fucking movie, a comic book, a TV show with his brain. Fuck yeah, man. I'm sure it'll get on a stage somewhere.
Yeah,
A fucking now imagine a theater production of this shit. Come on.
crazy.
Come on, get me on the team, Eric. Get me on the
you're
team.
you're giving them ideas.